Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Piper's Hill College. My name is Siobhan Dalton, and I am the Deputy Principal in charge of the senior students this year. And can I just say, I'm really looking forward to working with you over the next 2 years. I suppose the process of entering fifth year began way back in January and February when you were selecting your options and subjects. So a huge amount of work has gone into preparing you to start back in school, and we're really looking forward to having you back in the building and getting settled into routine and back into teaching and learning as soon as possible. Usually we would have this evening and welcome all the parents and students into the building, but unfortunately we can't do that this year. But I suppose this evening came about because a lot of our sixth year parents would have said, and students would have said, I wish I'd known that at the start of fifth year. So it's really just an opportunity to fill you in on what you can expect for the next 2 years, and how we can have a partnership between school, home and the students to kind of support each other and work as best as we can. You have a very strong support system and network here in Piper's Hill for your senior cycle, between your tutors, your year head Miss Fox and year head support Miss Collins, myself and the guidance team. And there's always someone there to help and support you. But the important thing I want you to remember is that we are not mind readers. So if you have any queries or questions, or there's anything on your mind, please come and contact one of us and we would be delighted to help you out with anything. So I'll pass you on to our guidance team, Miss Walsh, Mr. Sharkey and Miss Moran, who will fill you in on what you can expect for the next 2 years. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Piper's Hill College Guidance and Information Welcome Night for fifth year parents. Ordinarily, we'd be in the hall and we'd all be together and we could have questions and answers, but unfortunately, this is the best substitute that we can offer on this occasion. Tonight, we want to talk to you a little bit about the guidance and counselling service in the school, what we do and what that will mean for your son or daughter over the next 2 years. Each of the guidance team will present. Myself, Kate Walsh, will talk about wellbeing and student stress management. Anne Moran will talk to you about the guidance programme that we do over the 2-year period with students, including the REACH programme, how to calculate points and the importance of higher and ordinary level and the difference between them in terms of leaving cert. John Sharkey will talk to you about study skills, getting organised, planning and making the most of your time.
Hello, I'm Anne Moran, one of the 3 career guidance counsellors here in Piper's Hill College. This evening, I'm going to go through the Senior Cycle Career Guidance programme with you. Starting with the aims of the programme, the first one is to enable the students to research any career they are interested in, to research Irish and UK college courses, to understand course entry requirements and the point system, to discover their own career interests and abilities, to study more effectively, and to track their exam results. Beginning in 5th year, we start off with the point system. Then we go to the National Framework of Qualifications and look at what is meant by level 6, 7 and 8 courses. We teach the students how to use Qualifax for course research, Careers Portal for career research. We then register the students on the REACH Plus online career guidance programme, which is an excellent resource. They do the guidance interview on that. They do a career interest questionnaire, and then they match careers to their interest test results. Towards Christmas, they start tracking their results by setting targets and then entering the results into their REACH Plus tracking app. They do a study skills questionnaire on REACH Plus, and that generates personalised study tips. They learn how to research the employment market. We introduce them to 3rd level prospectuses and also to the CAO application process and to PLCs or post-leaving cert courses. Towards the end of the year, we look at studying abroad, We do an in-depth career investigation. They continue to results track for their summer exams. We look at third level college summer schools, and we help them to prepare letters or emails for applying for a summer job. Starting in 6th year, we look at the calendar of career events for the year, including looking ahead to see when open days are on in the various colleges. We take the students to the Higher Options Conference in the RDS. We do goal setting and study skills. We revise again level 6, 7 and 8 courses. Then we begin the CAO application process using the CAO handbooks, the website, course research, and we do a CAO demonstration application with the students. We continue with HEAR and DARE. HEAR is the higher education access route to education. DARE is the disability access route to education. We have college speakers come in to speak to the 6th year students. We continue with results tracking for the mock exams. We help the students to apply for post-Leaving Cert courses, for college scholarships, for apprenticeships, and we help them to apply for NUI, Irish or third level language exemptions. Towards the end of the year, we again go over study and revision techniques with the students. We show them how to apply for third level college grants called the SUSI grant. We go through the CAO change of mind and the sequence of events in August when the CAO offers become available. And finally then we do exam technique with the students. Thank you.
Hello, in this part of the presentation I'm going to talk about study skills. I'm going to look at what makes a good place to study, how to organise your materials, how to manage your time well, some tips for parents, and then finally some resources that are useful. So what makes a good place to study? This is not a good place to study. A good place to study needs to be tidy, needs to be comfortable, needs to be quiet. So distractions like game consoles need to be removed. Organisation is key at this time of the year, so get yourself a large folder for every subject to keep your notes and handouts in for the next 2 years. Planning is important, and without a plan, we tend to drift. And also without a plan, you can have a tendency to spend too much time on your phone with that screen time. So a study timetable will help you with your planning. This is one type of study timetable, but there are many different kinds out there. So look at plenty, try them out, and stick to one that suits you best and that works for you. Weekends are important, and students who do well in their Leaving Cert tend to use part of their weekend to catch up and study and homework. So that's important to bear in mind. And when you're getting organised, it's good to have a goal. So rather than I want to study French all evening, be more specific. I want to study 2 pieces of the conversation for my oral, the subject of my family and the weather, and I'm going to do that for 25 minutes. So with a specific goal or task, you're much more likely to do it. And as you do these goals or tasks, have a list of them and tick them off your list, because that will really help you and motivate you. Quickly to look at passive and active learning. As you can see, passive learning, like just reading or listening, we don't really remember much. We might remember 10 or 20%. But when you practice doing something or teach others or discuss it with somebody, this is much more active and you will remember 75 to 90%. So recording yourself and listening, drawing diagrams, doing questions are much more active learning. Motivation and rewards. Always stay positive. There's no time like the present. Learn to say no. So make a timetable and stick to it. Use checklists. So each time you do your homework or do some sort of topic, tick it off. As I said, it really helps with motivation. And reward yourself for a job well done. On the subject of grind, some students feel that they're the answer to all their problems or challenges. But ask yourself before you start spending money and time in grinds, where's the gap? Of difficulty understanding or maybe learning? What have I done to address that gap? And will the grinds really help me with the gap in my learning, understanding, or doing? So ask yourself those questions before you start spending time and money. Here are some resources that past students have found helpful. School days, study clicks are general resources, and then you've got your more subject-specific resources like Irish Grammar and Kane Academy. So tips for parents: how to get organised, understand the need for equipment, discuss time management, study and downtime, discuss that screen time, how much or how little, get to know the specifics of the subjects. Is there difficult topics? Are there deadlines to meet? Ask how your son or daughter are doing and be specific rather than saying, how are you getting on? Say, well, did you get that essay in time, or how's that deadline coming along? Offer your help to discuss, explain, and ask to be taught something maybe. Be aware of the resources that are out there. Stay constructive, give praise and be positive. And finally, most importantly, be there. Thank you for listening.
Wellbeing is a very important part of student success, and it's imperative as guidance counsellors, teachers, parents, that we look after the well-being of our students and children. Stress is something that we all experience. It's how we feel when we're faced with demands that we're not sure we can meet. It's a normal part of everyday life. And a healthy level of stress is a really good driver, and it motivates us to do well in life. Some of the causes of teen stress include things like schoolwork overload, unrealistic expectations either from themselves or from their parents, social life, relationships with friends, social media, sometimes romance, family problems, poor self-esteem, and poor overall management of all of their own resources and tasks at hand. The symptoms of stress that students often feel are an inability to concentrate, sometimes seeing only the worst in things or the most negative, worrying a lot, feeling moody, irritable, angry, which can often be exercised more at home than it is in school, feeling anxious or agitated, eating more or less than normal, sleeping more or less than normal, withdrawing from the family or from friends, nervous habits like nail biting or pacing, and then using other substances to temporarily free them from these feelings that they don't like at the time that they're experiencing them. So how can we as parents tell the difference? Well, normal teen behaviour includes things like wanting to be with peers more than family. That's completely normal. But what's not normal, or what should cause concern, is not wanting to spend time with family or friends at all. Normally, teens sleep a lot and they have a large appetite. Causes for concern would be where there's a sudden change in their appetite, or a sudden change in how long they sleep, or not being able to sleep at all, or challenges with sleep. It's normal for any teen or adolescent to be reluctant to get up early and get ready and go to school. What should cause concern for us, or what's in the abnormal range, would be to refuse to go to school at all. Sadness or anxiety following a fight with boys or girls in their friend group can cause stress, but what should cause us concern should be sadness and anxiety that doesn't correct itself at all, or that increases in intensity or is prolonged. So our relationship with our teens is very important through the Leaving Cert years, and how we engage with them around their learning and encourage them and reward them for doing well in school is very important. Trying to avoid a dynamic of nagging or being stressed, or encouraging them to stress more by pressurising or constantly asking should they be studying, isn't really particularly helpful. So how can we proceed in a helpful way as parents? We can ask about school often. We can inquire about a particular project, an oral, an essay, a debate, or some piece of work that they may have had due in. We can give a bit of space to listen. Sometimes we need to say less as parents in order to hear more. We can watch, look out for the changes we've talked about in the last slide, and express our concern if we see any changes. And we can observe and maybe sometimes prompt conversation by saying things like, "You seem tired," or "You seem to have a lot more homework this week." As a parent, the food that we provide for our children is very, very important. A good diet is an enormous contributor to success or not. So to watch out for colourful food, that they're eating a sound breakfast, lunch and dinner, and that they're, where possible, avoiding excessive junk food. Exercise has a huge part to play in our wellness and our mental health. So encourage them to exercise. Surveys in Ireland recently have shown that only 17% of 17-year-old females exercise. And obviously this is not desirable. There's great social and psychological benefits to exercise as well as physical. And the best way for parents to encourage exercise is to lead by example or invite them to exercise themselves or with you. Sleep is really, really important for adolescents. They should get on average 8 hours sleep per night, preferably with an hour and a half of that occurring before midnight. It's more difficult for students to cope when they don't sleep, and a good sleep should give them energy and motivation to work during the day. Screen time is a huge issue with adolescents and very often a source of conflict at home. Most devices have a screen time monitoring setting, so it could be worthwhile to discuss this with your son or daughter. Very often they're not aware of how much screen time they are. When I do this exercise in class and we look at their average screen time, it comes in around 6 to 7 hours per day. And usually students are surprised and shocked that they're spending this much time. So it's very unconscious. Helping your son or daughter become aware of the amount of screen time that they're spending and maybe trying to consciously limit it. Again, the setting app for screen time allows you to limit the amount of screen time spent on apps such as Snapchat and so on. I suppose what we're trying to say here in terms of wellness is that everything is about balance. So if you get a good night's sleep, you've good fuel in your body. If your relationships at home and with others aren't too strained, and if you plan your time and work consistently throughout the school year, you will do well. It does equal success. If you find your son or daughter has serious changes in their behaviour, is very demotivated, is not doing well in school when they previously did, or just is struggling overall, there is a lot of help out there for you. Your GP is always a good port of call. Here in the school, we have a deputy principal for each of the years. We have a tutor for each of the classes. We have a year head for each of the year groups. Here on the guidance team, we're happy to talk to students and try and help them or refer them on to somebody that can help them if we cannot. And there are a huge amount of online resources available to you as a parent. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope it was of help to you, and we hope that the main message that you know is that the guidance team are available here by phone or by email, and we'll endeavour to get back to you as soon as we hear from you. Best of luck to everybody starting 5th year, and we hope to work with the class of 2022 over the next 2 years towards success. Thank you.